Last time, I talked about the design of a Fnaf band game and how to get things flowing, get the creativity going on a piece of notebook paper. And I explained the key things you want to keep track of while designing your game and not going too crazy to get stuck with some mess. Well, this episode, after playing a bit of Call of Duty for about 7 hours straight, we're going to be talking about the actual office, getting the coding part working, and the many methods you can use to make your office feel like a 3D space, kind of. So I went ahead and put together some scripts. I made a new script that was basically a newer version of scripts that I use for Those Nights at Chester's 2. Those Nights at Chester's 2 has a sort of snappy movement style where, you just look around and the camera will go where you want it to pretty quick. While my first game, I do believe, used the second version of this scrolling, which is just normal scrolling, kind of like Fnaf. Now with these two methods, I want to go over some pros and cons that exist with these methods. So first, we might as well talk about the more simplistic one, which is what I call just smooth scrolling. It kind of auto scrolls to the whatever side of the screen you're trying to look at. This method is pretty simple to use. I mean, all you have to do is set up borders so the scrolling doesn't go too far. All it's really doing is detecting if the mouse is moving to whatever side of the screen, and it will change the X position until it gets to a border point, which in my case is 71, and it'll set it to 71 so it doesn't move anymore, and the other way around for the other side. This imitates the first Five Nights at Freddy's game and how its office kind of scrolled exactly like this. I started out on that game in mobile, so for me, I tapped the screen and it would go to whatever side. But as you'll see, if you try this on mobile, it will do that exact same thing. It will work exactly like how it did on the mobile games. So if you're looking for a mobile friendly game, then there you go. This is the best scrolling method for that. So that's one of the pros. Another pro is that it is really easy to basically have moments and events where maybe you have the animatronic AI and there's someone at the door, but you don't want them to just appear, you don't want them to just spawn in, because that just ruins the whole atmosphere. You want them to kind of dynamically show up and make it seem like they're really trying to sneak in. So maybe if the player's looking off to this side and someone's showing up to your door right here, you could have it to where the animatronic waits until the player is looking on this side, and then when they look over there, you can hit them with a spooky sound and kind of get a free scare out of there, or just a startle. I mean, I don't get too scared of these things, so. And same way for the other door. I mean, there are a lot of ways you can do it, and I'm not saying you can't do that for the snappy scrolling, but it is just an idea to have in mind with this type of scrolling, the types of things that you can do, especially if you're trying to be mobile friendly, to try to get your game out there on the App Store or something. But another pro would be that it's really easy to code. I mean, if you're not a big coder or anything like that, I mean, anyone can make a game, but if you just want to stick to simplistic, snappiness, or simplistic, guaranteed no failure, then this would be the way if you want to keep things really simple. It's just literally change these values according to how big your office is, and boom, you're there. Another pro would be that you can basically pull like a Five Nights at Freddy's 3 feel to it. Like if you want the camera to be on one side of the office and then the reboot system to be on the other side, or whatever type of reboot type process, or some other mechanic, like maybe there's a portable music box button in the room for some reason and you want it to be on the other side of the office. With that, you can definitely have it to where you can program it to basically sense when the player is looking on this side, and then have it to where they can just go over there, and where they're forced to go over there and do their thing. But as you'll see, there are a lot of the same pros with just having normal scrolling. I think it just works better to have smoother, slow-paced scrolling for things like, oh, I have to reboot this, so I'm gonna go over to the other side of the office, look over there to reach the panel. Because with with the snappy scrolling that I use, it'll just, it's oversensitive, and that could lead to like misclicks or something on the user's end. I think it just all comes down to preference, to be honest. I don't really know what I'm talking about. Like I said, this is really simple, pretty easy to code. I'll have the code linked into a blank project after I get this video uploaded, and it won't have my assets. It won't. Y'all gonna have to do the work yourselves on this one, but it will have the code, so you can use that for your office that you should have done from the last video if you watched it. And if you haven't, I really recommend you go back and watch that. It's some good information, some entertaining commentary on just Scratch. There aren't many cons to this this scrolling. I mean, like I said, the cons are really up to you to decide with how your office is going to be scrolling. So the type of things that you want to do, like if you want to have a camera system in the center of the screen, you're gonna have to think about the screen moving every time you try to go down to that little camera button down there, if there was one. And there's an easy way to fix that up, but for those that don't really know, all you have to do is go down and extend this mouse X to like maybe 90. So you have to go all the way to the other side of the screen. See how it doesn't go like right about to this point when my mouse is just about touching this monitor right here. That gives you the time and the space to hit that camera without having the screen just go crazy, because that could also lead to misclicks on maybe certain buttons or stuff like that. So just keep that in mind. For now, I'm gonna keep mine at 50 since I don't really have any camera stuff like that. I usually use buttons and keys to get my doors and my cameras working, so I don't really use on-screen elements, but that's just me. Now that we're done talking about the old school smooth scrolling trick, we're gonna go into the snappy scrolling, because the snappy scrolling is where it's at. Now, I've seen a lot of fan games use methods like this, and they all have their own way of programming this. This may be one of the most complicated ways to really program this with all the custom buttons, but let me tell you, it is not as bad as it looks. It is just literally defining the blocks. That's it. That's all. All you have to do is take I'll read it out for you. All right, so what this block is going to do, this custom block that I've created called position, is going to take the X and Y mouse inputs, and as you can see, these right here, since the X is plugged into that, this will be the X. Since the Y is plugged into that, this will be the Y. So With that, you can then drag these down, and this is the X and Y position, the mouse. So it'll go to that at all times, and then boom. Now onto the reposition block. This will just basically reposition, you know, the X and Y position if you're hitting any borders. So what it'll do is reposition every time you get close to a border, and it will stop you from even going past that point, so you aren't, you know, seeing any background or backdrop elements of your game, or having it scroll too far out, you know. So this will definitely have to be something that you mess with for your office if you plan on using this script. You can also do a lot of cool effects and stuff with this, such as like having buttons like kind of go off screen when you look up or something like that, or I don't know, all sorts of things. You can get really creative. I'm not really going over like cameras and stuff yet, because cameras is a whole different thing. But getting your office set up is definitely something that comes first. You want to see how it looks. You want to see what things you can really do to spice up the office. If you haven't noticed, I did add some extra stuff to my office. I did redo the artwork a little bit. I'm gonna try to step away from using all the black border lines. Like this door hasn't been touched yet, but I will definitely clean that up. But for doors, I can definitely fit that in this video, since you know, scrolling isn't that hard to do. For doors and anything really, any office element, this will definitely help you out. Maybe you want a button to be on screen that follows in one certain spot of the office. Here, I'm gonna do a test. Now this isn't something that's going to be in my game, but I'm going to make this little purple button. We're gonna call it a purple button, and I want this to basically stay right here as a door button. Now, as you'll see, it doesn't really scroll with the rest of the office, so we're gonna have to add some code in there to get that working. Now, as you can see, for my door, I already have something going. It's pretty simple, nothing too crazy. It is literally just go to the X position of the office sprite minus whatever X position you want it to be at. So whatever this number is, or whatever this number is, will determine where it is while mimicking the office sprite. So you'll want to take this every time you add something into your office, like a fan, a switch, maybe another button, a light button, a door, vent door, whatever you can think of. Even like decoration elements, you can really get away with anything. Like if you want a poster up here, you can do that. But you'll basically take this, clone it, and then you'll define the X position. So start that up. Right now it's in the same position as the door, so you go in and just basically go about 160 maybe. I was close, right there. And then if I want to move it up a little bit, then boom. Oh, that's minus, but you go -40 to go, you know, upward. I'm sure you can do this with pluses, but for my sake, I just do this all the time. It's what I've known. But there, and then boom, you got it running on your screen. But then you'll see that there's a slight like glide to it, you know, and no one wants that. Like, come on. And that is a problem that I wanted to address on camera, because I'm actually having that problem with the door. You can actually slightly see it. So to avoid all of the chaos that this script adds, unless you just want to stick with that and I don't know, call it, you're going to want to first get this in here, right? You want to have this, have all the scripts from this into any office element you may have, and then in the costumes, you'll really want to think about where this is. So it'll help if you go into, like, you know, copy this, paste it, and put it right here, right where your office door is. This can be used as a template to put anything. So like if I wanted the monitor to be somewhere else in the office, but I wanted it to scroll around and be like in the environment, then I take this, I just copy it, put it in here, and then boom, it's in its exact spot. So we're gonna take this, delete that, delete this, paste that, and set the size to the size of the office, which is 140, and now it's in its exact spot, not even moving. No, none of that weird glitchiness, just stationary. So now you have a functioning button that doesn't glide around and do all that annoying stuff that's just not worth. And now you got a button there, and you'll just want to do that for your door as well. So you'll take this door. I wanted to do this on screen because I was experimenting with this. I haven't really run into any problems since, you know, a lot of my things are off door or off screen when something like that is happening. So we're gonna go ahead and put the door back here, and that's where the door goes. So we're gonna copy that, delete, come here, paste, and then drag all the things from this script into the door sprite. So get rid of that, get rid of that, get rid of that. Now we'll just delete this. There's not much I wanted to go over with that script anyways. And then now you got everything working. Now, as you'll see, you will run into a problem with things getting pushed up against the border, which is a problem that is, you know, just scratch related issue. As for that, I don't really know how to go about that. I've never really had a way of dealing with that besides putting borders right here to hide that sort of thing, but that kind of takes away from screen space. But I mean, I guess if you're going for like some kind of creepy.exe type vibe, then borders would probably help your case. But I guess it really depends on your office and how long and the size of it. So if you can fit these buttons on screen and you just set it to where when you turn, the button is just barely off screen, that'll prevent that from happening. But as of right now, buttons and things like that do get stuck on the corner, so do keep that in mind when putting things really close to the sides of your screen or sides of your office. Now I'm gonna delete this button because I don't really need it, and focus on the door. See, with the door, when you run into something like this, it really also depends on the design of your office. See, for me, I'm going to have a window sprite that's going to be in front of the door, so you won't really see this. You won't see this happening. For the other side, you won't see it happening either because the door will be behind this window sprite. That window will be like the peacekeeper on reality there. It'll keep everything tidy and tied together. So I don't really have to worry about this right now. It is annoying, but with things like turbo warps, packaging, you can go in and break the border limit, so you can have sprites off screen and it won't really cause any sort of problem. I don't know why Scratch just doesn't take that limitation away itself, or why there isn't an add-on that can do that for you, but it's beyond me, man. But that's sort of the limitations of this little method, where having things go off screen leads to them pressing up and not really changing their positions correctly. This is the most I got today. Next time we'll be focusing on basically whatever you guys want. So like if you have some kind of concept that you aren't sure how to do, but you think it would be cool to have for your game, just let me know and I'll try to find out a way to help you with bringing that concept to life and making it work out. And for anyone else, just comment below what you want to see more of, and I'll try to make that happen. So like if you want to focus on cameras, then I'll show you how to do that, or if you want how to do animatronic design or something, then I can do that as well. Just give me some insight before I go absolutely insane trying to write up a list of things to make a fan game. I've never done this before. I just get right into it and then start putting shit together, but now it's up to you guys to let me know what you want. So thanks for watching. See you later.